So here with the BMW 1 Series, the 120D M Sport. This one does have the upgraded M Sport Pro Pack on. Things like your black grille, black surrounds on the canards, and the upgraded brakes as well with the blue calipers. Let's take this for a drive. So we're now inside the BMW 1 Series. First thing you notice is this lovely M Sport steering wheel, which comes as standard from M Sport and up. You'll also notice as well we're surrounded by M Sport styling, seats, door sills, on the seat belts. I think BMW is definitely out there with one of the best interiors for definitely things like build quality, and as well you've got these lovely floppy paddles on the back of the steering wheel. One thing I do love about this 1 Series are the seats. They are the M Sport seats, so you feel like you're hugged a bit more. So when you go around the country bends at a bit of speed, you know, you feel very secure and held by the car. I'm 6'4", you know, and I've got plenty of headroom in my comfortable seating position here. They're electrically adjustable, so if needed to, you know, adjust them at a touch of a button really. They are the memory seats as well, so you can just select a mode and you can adjust to your chosen seating position. So driving this now on country roads, and it's definitely more sort of a driver's car. This, it should be on paper anyway. So you got the firm suspension, you got this engine as well. When you're in sport mode and you kick the engine down, you know, it does respond quite well. When you're in comfort and you try and put your foot down, the gearbox does take a while to kick down. At a low rev range as well, the car doesn't necessarily pick up speed. But you know, when you're in the higher rev range in sport mode with the paddles in manual mode, it's much more driver focused car, this one. So when it comes to style on the two cars, obviously there's no mistake in a Mini. Obviously the heritage that Mini's got behind the badge. You know, people know it's a Mini. Obviously we'll be having the Countryman, which is a bit of a bigger car. But you know, when it comes to this car here, you've got this lovely blue paintwork on the car. I think it's called the Misano Blue. And it's certainly a head turner around town. So with the Pro Pack, you've got the contrast black with the black wheels and the blue calipers on the brakes. So yeah, I'd definitely say it's more of a head turner of a car, this BMW. So we're just on the 1 Series now. We're going to quickly jump into the Countryman, which I'm very excited for. Love this car. I think it's very much suited for someone like myself, quite young, quite a stylish looking car. So we're going to see how now the Countryman compares to this. So we're just going over to the Mini Countryman now. Whilst it does still have that typical sort of Mini look and appeal to it, you can tell it is the bigger range of cars, more suited to a family. So now we're inside the Mini Countryman, and there's no denying it's a Mini. Typical Mini styling on the inside. You've got this big centre console display with your infotainment screen in the middle. There's nothing really bad to say about it. Build quality is on point. It's a nice place to be sitting. You've got this digital dash in front of you. You see, I think with the Mini it's either love or hate kind of thing with these interiors, but I'm getting used to it and I'm starting to really love it. So being in the Mini, it's like being in a time warp back to the 60s. It's got that typical Mini feel to it, but with a modern twist to it. So it's not going to be for everyone, the interior of the Mini, but you know, if you like that sort of heritage, that tradition of the Minis, then this car is perfect for you. The Countryman, you get a big feel with that typical Mini feel to the inside of it. So on use on the infotainment screen here, one thing I've got to say, the buttons are quite small and they are on the other side of the car to me. So like over here when you're driving, it's quite hard to make sure you're hitting the right buttons. You know, so that's one little flaw in the interior. And as well down here, you've got your different controls, your heated seats, sport button, and again, they're quite low down, so when you're driving, you just take your attention away from the road. So compared to BMW, there is definitely a lot more space in the back. You've got tons of room, things like dogs, kids, family members, anything you want really, you can just walk in the back of this car. So I'm just here in typical city traffic around Leeds at the moment, and one thing I do notice is the seating position of this car. I do prefer the BMW, simply because in this I feel very sat upright in a way. It is good though for like things like visibility, looking at the road, seeing what's around you, being aware of the surroundings. With actual seats and seating position in the BMW, I feel more comfortable, but this does have the softer ride. So one thing I would say about the inside of the car is, you know, when you look at it from the outside, it does look like quite a sort of big car. When you're driving, it doesn't feel so big. You know, it doesn't feel like taking up the road. But you do get that bigger space in the back of the car. You know, so much more of a family-oriented car compared to the BMW. So being a FEV, obviously much more of an economical car, and as well you can definitely feel that in the performance. I would say it's more responsive under the throttle compared to the BMW. That's just because you've got that electric motor there ready to kick in whenever, whereas with the BMW you have that sort of delay to it. Personally, I would probably go for a PHEV, just because things like commuting, long journeys, you'll get a better range out of it. So thinking to myself now, would I be able to live with this car? I'd definitely say I would be able to. Obviously these little things like the buttons being a bit small and out of the way, it does kind of get outweighed by the fact that it's a very nice car to be driving. So in terms of actually being in the car, I'd say this is much of a better car as like a daily, I'd say. You know, it's easy to get in and out of with the actual height of the car, the seating position. You know, the BMW is very low down, the seat's very low, you feel like you're almost sitting on the floor. In this view, if you're upright, your posture's much better. You know, so I'd say for someone who's looking for an easy car in terms of getting in and out of, better seating position, I'd say this is the car for you. So back here now with the BMW, the 120D with the M Sport Pro Pack on, and I've got to say I've loved this car. Love the way it drives, the way it performs on the back country roads. Definitely suited for someone like myself who's on a bit of fun, as well as a sort of semi-practical hatchback. Yeah, the M Sport Pro Pack on the car does make it look very appealing, very stylish, a bit more of a head turner than the Mini. Day to day, I wouldn't say it's as comfortable as a Mini, but it is one of those trade-offs. You are driving a sport car at the end of the day, you know, so the suspension is firmer, so it's something you have to trade off if you do go for the BMW. So one thing to consider about the 120D is a diesel. Yeah, you do get good fuel economy out of it, but you know, it is a diesel at the end of the day, so that's becoming less and less popular. The Mini, it does have that plug-in hybrid, so it is more fuel efficient. Yeah, you do have the charged car, but it's definitely much more of a fuel efficient car. So now with the Mini, again, I'm pleasantly surprised by this car. I do like the styling of it. I like the black stripes, like the black badge. Exterior styling of the car with the wheels, it has pleasantly surprised myself. It is a comfier car to sit in. You know, you get much more ease and use out of the car, say much more of a practical car if you are carrying family, dogs, you know, whatever. So practicality wise, say it is a plus over the BMW. Obviously both build quality are going to be great on these cars, both BMW effectively. Many have kept the interior a bit more simple, I'd say. You know, keeping it the heritage of the Mini, typical dashboard inside the car, but you know, off-powered build quality. But for me, it has to be the BMW all day and every day. So I've made my choice. What about you?